Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and we're going live right now to talk about emotional healing, and there's also going to be a meditation on emotionally healing. And I want to talk about because I feel that a lot of people are going through a lot of different emotions. It could be anxiety, it could be sadness, it could be anger, and knowing that all of your emotions are safe and all of our emotions that we experience on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis, all of our emotions are trying to tell us something. All of our emotions are a reflection, and every type of emotion allows us to transform the present moment here and now, and allows us to heal even greater and tap into deeper heart centers. And they allow us to channel from our purified ego, but they also allow us to feel our emotions, knowing that we have the right to pick our emotions. And when those emotions arises, they're trying to show us different distortions, different ways of healing, different ways of choosing our sense perceptions. So don't be afraid to emotionally heal, and don't be afraid when your vulnerability and the tenderness of your heart comes up, and knowing that when you are emotionally healing, that means you are invested in yourself. When you experience emotion that takes you down a pattern or a cycle or something from the past or maybe your past lifetimes, that's absolutely a good thing, because it's showing you that your emotions are telling you what you need to hear, but they're also reflecting back to you. And it also will give you a lot of discernment when you're dealing with other people and also different circumstances and experiences, because you'll see like when someone's being combative or someone's projecting something on you, or they're just kind of lashing out emotionally, and then you'll be able to be there for them as a kind-hearted soul. So when we're emotionally healing, we're allowing ourselves to empower ourselves with emotions that are more in sync with our belief systems. So when we have emotions that actually work with us and not work against us, we are actually tapping into the emotional guidance system, and we're tapping into the emotions that are most preferred, and we're generating a completely different experience of how we tap into our emotions. So a lot of people think emotions are unsafe. They think that emotions are bad, if you will. Sorry, I'm trying to position my camera. People sometimes think that emotions and just not feeling your emotions is more enlightened. As we become more spiritually advanced and more spiritually in-depth with our direct perception of the I Am Presence, what really happens within the organism is that we actually learn how to use our emotions as guidance, as astral projections, but also as ways of projecting what you really want, but also tapping into the divine feminine source of power when you are aligning with your emotions. A lot of people think that emotions are a bad thing, or that if you emote a certain way, then you're not spiritual, or you have to have a certain spiritual behavior in order to do this said thing. And I don't think that's always the case. What I think the case is, most of the time, when we have a lot of emotional healing, what we're doing is that we're really tapping into our heart, and we have a lot of trust, and we have a lot of faith, but we also have a lot of conviction, because we're recognizing and acknowledging what our emotions are. So if you're acknowledging your emotions and you're actually tapping into them, you actually learn how to heal. It actually means that you're more of an energetic healer than most people when you are very emotional. So sometimes, like when you're watching a movie, I noticed I was watching a movie with Robert Downey Jr., Hearts and Souls. And there were scenes in that movie that just pulled something out of you. It brings something out of you when you are emotionally healing. It brings something out of you. That means you're clearing the decks. You're actually looking at your shadow. You're looking at the things that you need to look at. And then as that is bringing more stuff out of you, you're expanding upon the present moment, because you're seeing that your emotions are leading you down the healing journey. And they're leading you towards feeling more in sync with yourself and more in touch and not out of touch with your present reality. So if you are experiencing so many different emotions at this time, and that's what I was sensing for the entire collective, encourage yourself to feel your emotions. Encourage yourself to clear the decks. Encourage yourself to just change the routine. But also, if you just need to take a day for yourself and I need more self-care and self-love within myself. I need to be more patient with myself. I'm too hard on myself a lot of the time. So that means that you're setting an expectation that's unrealistic. So don't be so hard on yourself and don't beat yourself up because you're experiencing a lot of emotional healing. I experienced emotional healing this morning. I listened to this Tony Robbins segment for 15 minutes, and it just brings something out of me every time I listen to it because I resonate with it. And it's stuff that I need to implement within my own life. So there's many different things and there's many different energies that we're experiencing at this time. So just because you are having an emotional transgression doesn't mean that you're out of alignment. It actually means that you're aware of the alignment that is present so that you can snap back into alignment when you are recognizing how to emotionally heal within yourself, how to really channel from your heart centers, but also looking at your emotions as guidance and looking at your emotions as reflections, as it's helping you to become a guide. So if it's helping you become a guide, it's really just allowing you to develop guidance mechanisms, because we always have defense mechanisms when certain emotions arise. So we have this fight or flight mentality. So we have to kind of let go of that mentality of feeling like we have to run away or fight it, instead of just receiving it and just receiving that healing within yourself so that you can become independent with your own awareness. And when you allow yourself to do this, it's very freeing because you have the ability to really be a sensible being, to have sense and sensibility, but also to have emotional availability so that you can allow yourself to just be vulnerable and sensitive and realize that my emotions are leading to my healing. My emotions and me as a healer is helping me grant myself healing and giving myself the chance to release. So a lot of people are tapping into the Kundalini energy because it's the energy of release, if you will. So as you're releasing that vibration out, as you're, projecting those emotions out, and as you're just kind of releasing, and it's kind of just putting everything on your portrait. It's kind of like slapping the paint everywhere, and just kind of it's kind of like those rooms where they smash everything and then they feel instantaneously better. Well, as light workers, we kind of do that internally sometimes, and sometimes externally. There's no judgment at all. That's what's beautiful about the spiritual journey, because it's always graceful and it's always loving and caring. So we're kind of doing that internally, like those, I can't remember what they're called, but they get a bat and they kind of thrash around the room, and then they feel kind of better because they're letting up pent up aggression and things of that nature. Now, I'm not saying to do that, but sometimes we have to internally do that so that we can actually look at why does this emotion arise when this said thing happens? Why does this happen when this emotion arises? Why do I feel that certain way? And why do I get triggered when that person says that thing? Or why am I aware when someone's projecting something onto me and I have to kind of diffuse the situation? And sometimes it's not good to match energies, but sometimes you have to do that in order to get your point across. Because if someone's hell-bent on projecting what they want on you, they'll just continue to do so, and they'll just kind of put you in a corner or gaslight you or be the put-down artist. So it's kind of like when we're emotionally healing, we're really just giving that sense of release and that sense of stability and that sense of recognition to how we're supposed to feel moment to moment. And knowing that a lot of people think it's hunky-dory. Yeah, Kim said, sometimes walking away from a negative situation helps both. That's very good advice. That's very sound advice. Is because you're being the bigger person at the end of the day by walking away from it. So that's a very good point that she made, because sometimes you just have to, like if you're studying something, you can't just study it all at one time. You can download the knowledge within yourself, but if you focus on it like it's a chore, then it's not going to be fun and you're not going to want to learn how to do it. So you got to kind of give yourself increments to release and heal and let go. Because if you don't allow yourself to do that, then it's going to feel like a chore and it's going to feel like a job. And spirituality shouldn't feel like a job. Emotional healing shouldn't feel like a job. It should feel like you're opening a door to another gateway of your journey. That you're opening something up within yourself and you're finally closing your eyes to see more. And you're just appearing into the side of that awareness and that I am presence that's being reflected back to you. So a lot of emotional healing can come from, I say this all the time with people who I give readings towards, is having that look in the mirror. Is having that look in the mirror and trying to accept that person that's looking back at you is one of the hardest things that you can do. Because if you say that and you're looking directly into the mirror and you have to accept that person that's looking back at you, that means you have to accept yourself fully. That means you have to accept how you reacted to something, how you were triggered about something, how you were judgmental towards something, dwelling within right or wrong, and you have to accept that person, because the only way to emotionally heal is to really accept ourselves and to accept our imperfections, to be able to heal upon the present moment that is being presented to us. So it's just like, sometimes it's just like I ask for healing. Sometimes it's just about like, I ask. I'm not going to leave this room until I'm healed. I'm not going to leave this room until I understand this emotion. I'm not going to leave from this meditation unless I allow myself to receive and get past what I need to get past. So all healing is self-healing, and the mechanisms of healing is realizing that you're not necessarily performing the healing, but you're being the divine assistance to the healing itself. So you're just allowing the divine to open up in different ways to guide you so that you're doing the healing. Even though there's many people and we say that we're doing healings and stuff like that. I do healings and stuff, but what is giving me the incentive to do that healing before I was even going to do it? What gave like the thought that I was going to give that healing, or that you needed the third eye activation, or that you needed a reading? So it's anything like that. And that's how the divine moves through us as a channel of that embodiment of that emotional healing. And that is what allows us to expand upon the present moment. So I'm going to check with my guides, and I'll talk a little bit after the meditation. But we're going to do the meditation. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to jump right in and do the meditation. So accept this healing meditation, emotional healing meditation. And also just know that you guys can book private sessions with me. And if you ever see me go live with readings, healings, all you have to do is like, share, and gift for an in-depth reading, healing, activation, or anything of that nature. And there's an ant on me. So, okay. Accept this emotional healing meditation. And just relax. And what I want you to do is just tap into your heart centers. Tap right into the heart. Allow that heart to be that circle. Allow that heart to be reciprocation. And just relax and take a big, deep breath. And we're also going to tap into the Kundalini energy. So we're going to tap into that Kundalini energy of release. So whatever you need to vent, whatever you need to get out, just allow yourself to, speak what's on your mind, speak what's on your heart, and tap into that Kundalini energy of release. And we're just going to let go at this moment. So if you need to let go of something, if you've been holding on to something, if you've been fighting something, or maybe you don't want to get out of the house, trust me, I have those days like that too. But just know it's okay, it's accepted, and all paths lead to God. It all leads you back You can never stray from the path unless you really want to. But ultimately, the divine just reflects back to us to understand that we just need to tap more into our emotional vulnerability and our sensitivity and allow ourselves to appreciate the triggers and the lessons and the catalysts that are on this earth plane, because they allow us to garner a lot of wisdom and healing and just being a blissful being of love and light. So just allow yourself to remain in the stillness. And we're also going to tap into the divine feminine energy of fertility, of unconditional love, of grace and anointing. Even if it sounds corny, don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not beautiful. It's a song I was listening to last night by Eminem. And he said in the song, God gave you those shoes to fit you. Just put them on and wear them. And just be yourself and be proud of who you are. And don't let anybody tell you that you're not beautiful. So even people who are not awakened, like in many different kinds of music or different ways of life, or an artist like Bob Ross, I believe that's what his name was. He said there's no mistakes but happy accidents. So if you can pull anything and find those little golden nuggets from people who are not even awakened, but they're divine in their own way, if you will, and you can just find those little breadcrumb trails and be able to allow yourself to use an affirmation to confirm what you are. So as you can allow yourself to use your words of wisdom to bring heart healing activations, but also to bring yourself emotional healing at this time. So don't be afraid of your emotions. Tap into your emotions. Your emotions are very safe because they're all just trying to get us to release energy, to let go of energy, to really clear the decks for the entire collective. And if you allow yourself to do that, you allow yourself to be consistent and have repetition, that every morning, I've woke up several mornings where I meditated and I just had a good cry. And if you feel emotional even right now, you can do that. For 3 years straight, no matter what I was listening to, I noticed that I wept. I cried plenty of tears, but they were tears of grace and anointing. They weren't tears of sadness. That's the difference. And then when you have a good emotional release, if you take a picture of yourself before and after, you'll see that you're such a completely different person because you cleared so much energy within yourself. Because you actually felt your emotions. You were aware of your emotions, but you were cognizant why those emotions arise and why the triggers happen. And maybe it was from a past circumstance or your past lifetimes. But it could just be that you're just helping the collective heal emotionally and to tap into who they really are. But really what you're doing is that you're holding space for the entire collective. So you're just holding space for someone to heal, but you're also holding space within yourself. And that's what's beautiful. And right now, what we can do is just hold space for another person. And just hold space for yourself even. It's not selfish. Because when you heal, you're actually giving. Because it allows you to have the ability to receive. Everyone take one last deep breath. And so it is. So that was the meditation for emotional healing. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that, and I hope you gained something from it. I hope you released whatever you needed to release, and I hope that it brought you a lot of emotional healing. And even if you felt like maybe I had a lot of people tell me that their forehead would tingle a little bit. So if your forehead was tingling a little bit. But also, we just allow ourselves to hold space for everybody. And that's what we're doing when we're healing. We're holding space for the entire universe, but we're also creating space so that we allow everybody to open up and to be comfortable in their skin, to be comfortable in their divine essence. So they're able to be comfortable with themselves. So, and being thankful towards the very fact that we get to, because there's a lot of people in history that were very, very gifted and didn't get to do the things that we're doing on this app. So I'm very grateful that I get to do this, and it's an honor to be in the presence of you guys, but also allowing you guys to receive and to just connect, and also just to relay as well. So it also, like Notre Dame and Joan of Arc, those people didn't have the chances or the opportunities that we had. So if we have the ability to heal now, and we have the ability and the resources to do what we need to do, then why not do it? Why not share? And why not put yourself out there as a loving being of love and light? So I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this live feed. Thank you for liking the live, and thank you for receiving the meditation. And also, if you want to book a private session with me, it's $70 for 1 hour, and $60 for a healing session and activation session, and $50 for a psychic class. YouTube, White Wolf the Oracle. Instagram, whitewolf4741. And BitChute, whitewolftheoracle23_@. And one last thing that I would like to say is that when we emotionally heal, we actually have a greater sense of what's going on around us. We actually become more empathic, and we are able to sense energy even deeper, because we can see past the illusion of it. We can see the root cause of all the problems and the issues, so that we're able to kind of nip it in the bud and diffuse a lot of situations. So what we're doing is becoming emotionally intelligent. So thank you guys so much. God bless, and namaste.